Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mary N. Odio from the Department of Agricultural Extension Education, Nagaland University. Today's session explores some of the most insightful organizational frameworks that help us to understand how institutions operate in a complex, fast-changing environments. These are known as postmodern or contemporary organization theories. Unlike the classical theories, these models address modern realities such as the interconnected systems, institutional norms, dynamic relationships, and resource dependencies. Let us explore four such frameworks and understand their relevance in today's world. Contemporary theories gained prominence from the late 1970s onwards in response to growing globalization, digital transformation, and institutional complexity. Each theory we will study emerged from this period. Institutional theory, developed by John W. Mayer and Brian Rowan in 1977, explains how organizations conform to societal expectations to gain legitimacy. Network theory, advanced by Walter W. Powell in the 1990s, emphasizes interorganizational relationships and social networks. Resource dependence theory, introduced by Jeffrey and Gerald in the year 1978, focuses on how organizations manage external resource constraints. Chaos and complexity theory, which is drawn from natural sciences and adapted to management by Margaret Whitley in 1992, helps us to understand unpredictability and adaptive systems. These theories reflects a shift from internal hierarchy to external interactions, adaptability, and legitimacy seeking behavior. Institutional theory, given by Mayer and Rowan in the year 1977. John W. Mayer and Brian Rowan, in their landmark 1977 article, proposed institutional theory. They argued that organizations often adopt certain structures or practices not because they increase efficiency, but to conform to societal norms and gain legitimacy. For example, a university may adopt environmental policies or diversity charters not because it directly affects outcomes, but because society expects it. This conformity builds trust and acceptance among stakeholders, regulators, and funders. This theory is essential to understand how institutional pressures shape modern organizations, especially in sectors like education, healthcare. Resource dependence theory, given by Pfeffer and Selancic 1978. Introduced by Jeffrey Pfeffer and Gerald R. Selancic in the year 1978, resource dependence theory suggests that no organization is entirely self-sufficient. Every organization depends on external resources such as funding, labor, raw materials, or legal support, and this dependence shapes its structure and behavior. For instance, a non-profit heavily dependent on international donors may align its goals with donor priorities. Organizations constantly make strategic adjustments to reduce dependency and secure long term stability, sometimes through partnerships, lobbying, or mergers, or through collaborations. Network theory, given by Powell in the year 1990. Walter W. Powell, a leading figure in organizational sociology, introduced network theory in the early 1990s to explain how organizations are embedded in webs of relationships, not isolated entities. It emphasizes that an organization's success often depends on the strength, quality, and diversity of its networks, such as partnerships, collaborations, and knowledge exchanges. Whether it's agricultural cooperatives linking with government schemes or university engaging with industries, network structures shape how resources, ideas, and influence flow. Chaos and complexity theory, given by Whitley in the year 1992. Margaret Whitley, in her 1992 book named Leadership and the New Science, brought the chaos and complexity theory into organizational thought. Originally rooted in mathematics and physics, this theory acknowledges that organizations operate in unpredictable, nonlinear environments. It challenges the idea of control. Instead, it promotes adaptation, feedback loops, and decentralized systems. Just as small atmospheric changes can trigger a storm, tiny changes within organizations can create large scale ripple effects, the so called butterfly effect. This theory is particularly useful in crisis management, disaster response, or innovation, where flexible, real time learning matters more than rigid procedures. Each of these theories contributes a vital perspective. Institutional theory shows how legitimacy and societal norms influence organizations. Network theory highlights the power of relationships and interdependence. Resource dependence theory explains how strategy is shaped by external control. Chaos and complexity theory equips leaders to deal with uncertainty and fluid systems. Together, they help us to navigate the new logic of organization, which is all about a logic that prizes learning, responsiveness, and relational capital over traditional top down models. In conclusion, postmodern or contemporary organization theories move us beyond hierarchy and efficiency towards legitimacy, adaptability, and systems thinking. These models are highly relevant for managing change in educational institutions, development projects, public administrations, and corporate strategy. They help us to understand that leadership today means embracing uncertainty, working collaboratively, and responding intelligently to evolving external demands. References for this theory. Thank you for joining me in this session. I hope this framework inspires you to view your own organization as part of a broader adaptive system.